Coco Gauff recently disclosed that she is treated better by fans than anywhere else in the world, lavishing her with customized presents that demonstrate they genuinely research her interests. While her debut season was covered by American media, China was doubting everything about her, laid out the red carpet and forced her to feel appreciated. The difference is unquestionably wild, and the haters are most likely furious. At this moment, before we begin, let's a remark. Why is it necessary to travel to another nation for Coco Gauff to obtain the regard and gratitude she deserves? Let's discuss what Coco Gauff truly said, since the details show something really terrible about her, handled in various regions of the world. During the China Open, in an interview, Coco was questioned about what remains of the greatest impression when she performs in Beijing. Her answer has nothing to do with the facilities, the winnings, or the degree of competition. According to her, it was the admirers. In particular, she stated that each time she visits China, she departs with more presents than the previous year. Earlier, she stated, and this is crucial, "I receive more than in any previous competition. Presents, just like I do in Beijing. Not within the United States, not at Grand Slams, not at esteemed competitions in Europe. China. She feels most at ease there, recognized and acknowledged as both a person and an athlete."
Definitely the fans. I think every year I come here and I always leave with more gifts.
Oh, it's for me? Yes. Oh, so nice. Thank you.
In no other tournament I get as many gifts as I do here in Beijing. So I think the fans always leave the best impression for me, and they really study like what the things I like. So I think that's why it feels a bit personal with them.
Here's the part, but that strikes in a very other way. Coco stated that Chinese enthusiasts actually research what I find appealing. Putting their gifts don't feel generic, they feel personal. Consider the implications of that for a second. Chinese fans are paying focus on her hobbies, her preferences. Her character goes beyond simply tennis. They're considering and endeavor to express gratitude in ways that are particularly important to her. In the meantime, back in America, big sections that fans and the media spent important period in her early career, wondering if she was worthy of her ranking, whether her achievements were valid, regardless of whether she was exaggerated. There is no greater difference or more uncomfortable for those who desire to act out American sports culture, treats athletes with equity. This isn't. For the first time, foreign supporters have shown American athletes greater affection, more than the United States of America. Actually, it's a somewhat regular pattern, particularly for African American athletes, especially for Black female athletes. They succeed. Achievement. They shatter walls. They provide focus on their sport. Additionally, rather than ubiquitous festivity, they encounter skepticism, criticism, and persistent doubting their legitimacy. Next, when they travel abroad, they are treated like the champions they are, which ought to make America's citizens take some serious contemplation of the reasons that keep taking place. Warning about spoilers. That rarely does reflection occur because recognizing the issue would necessitate acknowledging the existence of an issue. Coco's remark on how presents feel a little. In China, personal experiences indicate something that was probably not intended, but it's worth investigating. When supporters spend the time to discover your interests and priorities, what makes you happy, and then give exhibits that demonstrate that comprehension, it establishes a sincere bond. It declares, I view you as a complete individual, not merely a sportsman competing for my amusement. That has significance in methods that surpass the monetary worth of any kind of present. Additionally, the reality that Coco feels the strongest connection instead of in her own country, China, is honestly, it's quite depressing to consider. Let's talk about what was going on in Chinese enthusiasts were studying in America. What Coco enjoys in order to provide her with. Consider It presents tennis media in the United States was composing thought pieces regarding whether she was prepared for the strain of being highly regarded. The commentary sections were replete with people are doubting her mental fortitude following any defeat. Social media changed each game into a vote on whether she was worthy of being cited in the same breath like tennis greats. She was 19 or 20 years old, achieving the most. Players never succeed in their whole occupations. Additionally, the reaction from a huge some aspects of tennis culture in the United States included skepticism and criticism as opposed to festivities. The care Coco gets. But it goes beyond gifts in China. They serve as a concrete representation of gratitude. It has to do with respect. Chinese admirers aren't continuously wondering if she's earned her success. They're not contrasting her in several ways with other players, intended to minimize her achievements. They're not providing care. Each game as a test to demonstrate she belongs at the highest level. They're just recognizing her brilliance and demonstrating that gratitude is considerate. Individual methods. That's what athletes deserve. And it's crazy that she must to the opposite side of the globe to receive it constantly.
You know, I've only seen like settings like this on TV and movies. I don't know, it's really cool to be here in person.
Yeah, it smells good. I don't usually like tea, but I usually like a lot of sugar in it, you know? I finished my fast. I really liked it. I'm the hostess now. Want some tea, Maria? I already have a full cup, but so good.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I've never been to China before, so it's really cool to experience these different things, and I appreciate the Chinese people and the people of the courtyard for allowing me to be a part of this experience.
Now, some people will unavoidably react, responding to this by stating, well, Chinese fans are simply incredibly passionate about. Asian tennis enthusiasts are renowned for presenting gifts to famous people. Of course, cultural background is important here, but let's not act as though that's the entire narrative. In particular, Coco stated that she receives more presents in Beijing than anywhere else. Another competition. She performs around Europe, in Australia and other Asian countries. Beijing is unique. Chinese supporters stand out, and the cause of their uniqueness is due of the unique personal nature of their gratitude, which Coco specifically stated. This isn't only passion for culture, this is real, careful acknowledgement of her identity as an individual. The situation's irony is especially acute considering how frequently American sports fans and media discuss about encouraging our athletes and American pride in relation to global rivalry. Where was everything that encouragement and pride when Coco was encountering persistent suspicion and criticism early in her professional life? Where was the sincere gratitude for her achievements? Where were the individuals examining her interests and demonstrating gratitude on a personal level? They were too preoccupied to wonder if she was sufficiently resilient mentally, whether her ranking was exaggerated, if she could manage pressure. Chinese admirers were apparently those who are genuinely backing an athlete from the United States while Americans were busy destroying her. This pattern goes beyond Coco. Of course, Serena Williams endured decades of disdain, racism and scrutiny in American tennis, while being honored worldwide as one among the all-time great athletes. Japan was represented by Naomi Osaka, however, was partially reared in America, encountered cruel treatment by the U.S. media and admirers who helped her mental health issues. Perhaps Simone Biles, the best gymnast in history, received condemned for putting her mental health first. Health throughout the Olympic Games. The pattern is reliable. Black female athletes attain remarkable achievement. America reacts with doubt and disapproval. Fans from other countries display real gratitude. After then, Americans receive perplexed as to why these players don't feel more encouraged at home. Coco's Chinese fans' revelations are also intriguing from a commercial and marketing viewpoint. She wears Nike, athlete with significant endorsement contracts, and China is undoubtedly a huge market for sports-related brands. The reality that she has such a deep emotional bond with Chinese admirers increase her worth as a marketing presence in that area. In the meanwhile, American tennis, the establishment took a long period doubting her authority because they maybe reduced her marketability at home. Astute business plan. Without a doubt. Nothing shouts, grow the sport like continuously undermining your young stars until they feel more valued. In other nations, the particular reference that fans research my interests is especially instructive since it shows a degree of care and attention that transcends mere fandom. These individuals aren't only attending watch tennis and then disregard the players later on. They are admirers who listen to interviews, adhere to social media, discover personalities and passions, after which translate that knowledge into significant actions of gratitude. That is the type of fan interaction that every athlete ought to have this experience. Moreover, to be honest, it's embarrassing that Coco has to travel to China in order to regularly obtain it. Let's discuss what this says as well regarding the condition of tennis in America. Culture in general. In America, tennis has always had challenging connections with class and race. The game has historically connected to wealth, privilege, and primarily white involvement. When gamers enjoy Coco Gauff and the Williams sisters attain enormous success, they confront the connections and compel the tennis organization should face its own prejudices. The answer to that problem has frequently been opposition, doubt, and condemnation as opposed to joy. Chinese admirers who lack the same racial burden from the past in American tennis players can just enjoy quality without being overly complex. Context is interfering. The moment of Coco's remarks is also noteworthy. After winning, she said these things. The China Open at a time when she was engaging in some of the greatest tennis of her professional life. She exuded confidence, prosperous and feeling good about herself. Game. And during that triumphant moment when questioned what makes the greatest impression, she responded by saying that she felt valued and appreciated by Chinese admirers in the manner she doesn't encounter somewhere else. That isn't a fleeting remark. That's a significant comment concerning her strongest emotions, encouraged and valued as a sportsman in individual. The detractors of the title references are most likely experiencing a challenging moment with Coco's remarks, because they make an uncomfortable veracity. All the critiques, all the skepticism, all of her inquiries, legitimacy and mental fortitude, none of that was genuinely about assisting her or being constructively critical. It was only negativity. Coco also discovered more assistance and gratitude in China compared to she did from substantial chunks of tennis culture in America. That isn't a fantastic appearance for everyone who invested effort destroying her while seeming to be concerned about tennis in America. And further perspective, it is worthwhile to investigate what this implies for the internationalization of sports and tennis. In general, more and more athletes have choices about their base of operations, which events should be given priority, and which markets to concentrate on developing their brands. If Coco feels more valued and encouraged more in China than in America, that influences choices regarding where to spend time, which sponsors to collaborate with, and how to distribute energy and resources. The presumption that Americans, athletes will prioritize things automatically. American consumers and markets are becoming more antiquated, particularly when those American media outlets and fans treat them less favorably than foreign viewers do. The intimate character of the Coco's mentioned gifts are also worth highlighting because it demonstrates a degree of regard for her humanity. She's not merely a robot that plays tennis and exists to offer amusement. She is an individual with preferences, likes, interests, and dislikes. Chinese admirers understand that and express gratitude in ways that recognize her entire humanity. Contrast that with the way American sports athletes are frequently portrayed by the media as goods or amusement items.